and welcome everybody to episode 290 of the PGL Lobbycast, the official podcast of right here and right now, I suppose. This week we have a little bit of news, and it's not really news, it's more rumor-based, but there's a lot of it, so we can go ahead and go through this. This episode absolutely not brought to you by Guinness, but I will be drinking a Guinness here on the show. I don't know if they would approve of anything that I'm doing here. Let's go ahead and get started with the news. Microsoft is said to be in talks to acquire Mojang for a ridiculous amount of money. It's like $2 billion. And for those of you who aren't aware, Mojang is the creator of the game Minecraft, which is huge. It sells a ton of copies. My concern here is how many more copies can it possibly sell to make it worth Microsoft's investment. I have seen some discussion. I've been in part of discussions here and there with people worrying about the PS3 and PS4 and basically non-Microsoft platform versions going away or not being supported in the future. And I don't see this as being a huge concern for the most part because, like I said, Microsoft is going to have to recoup their investment on this purchase if it is indeed true. And so they're going to want to have it on as many platforms as possible. As of right now, a couple of potential, I guess, places for it to go are Windows Phone and Windows 8. Because as of right now, Minecraft version is not available for either of those platforms. So that may be something that Microsoft is looking to do in the future. And so hopefully this is going to turn out well for them if it is indeed true. Part of the bonus, or I guess, happy coincidence, or maybe it's the reason behind the whole thing, is that Mojang is a European company, so that Microsoft can use its European branches to help fund this purchase, so that they don't have the outrageous taxes that would be incurred by sending money out of the States to purchase a company outside of the States and then pay taxes on the money that's coming back into the States. And I know that those laws and those taxes are levied to protect, basically American companies from being, I guess, outdone by companies who can take business outside of the country and protect the job market here. This is one of those kind of situations that doesn't really fall into that. Basically they're acquiring this other company to acquire a intellectual property and not so much the business itself. So that's an interesting thing. We'll see how that shakes out. In some movie rumors, we've got Robert Downey Jr. is reportedly going to be joining the cast of the Assassin's Creed movie. Michael Fassbender, who has been attached to the project for quite some time, is more than likely playing the lead, but Robert Downey Jr. may be playing the part of Leonardo da Vinci. So, especially if this is going to be following the plot of Assassin's Creed 2, because this is a movie that is based on a video game property. So that'll be good. We always like Michael Fassbender, and Robert Downey Jr. is always a lot of fun to watch as well. Two guys from Marvel movies, but Marvel movies owned by separate companies, so they will probably never appear on screen in a Marvel movie together. And then a little bit has been chatted about, I guess, online about the possible plot of Episode 7. It's long been rumored that part of it is that Han Solo is going to be looking for Luke Skywalker with Luke Skywalker's kids, I believe. And, a lot of people have been speculating as to why Luke Skywalker is missing. And there was some talk about how the villains of this film had kidnapped him after the events of Return of the Jedi. And, that was pretty much squashed. Something that hasn't been squashed is that the Emperor has survived the events of Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. And that because he is not the first person to fall down a chute on a Death Star and survive, or shoot down anywhere and survive. And that in his later years, Luke Skywalker's powers have grown to the point where, basically he can do anything. And he starts to feel that the Emperor is seeking him out, perhaps trying to turn him to the dark side. Well, obviously trying to turn him to the dark side again, so that he can harness Luke's power to further his own aims. And that this being the case, that Luke has self-exiled himself to probably Dagobah, and I don't know why that is an exile spot. Maybe something about the planet protects people from being sensed by other force-sensitive people, and that he's been off the grid for basically about 10 years, and there must be some reason why all of a sudden Han Solo is making a concentrated effort to find him. It's very interesting. I think we'll see more as it gets closer and closer to the movie. Of course, we don't want too much spoiled for us, but basic plot points aren't such a big deal. And I believe that comes out December 15th of next year, so it gives us something to look forward to, not this holiday season, but of course, next holiday season. Moving on from there, let's get into the Weekly Whatchas. I've been catching up on some Coverville, and I'm right around episode 1000. My podcast gathering thing has kind of skipped around a bit, so I did listen to the Steve Miller cover story. And for those of you who haven't heard me talk about Coverville before, the cover story is where the entire show is made up of cover songs of and by a particular artist. So the Steve Miller cover story was actually kind of a cool one. And the one done by Chrissy Hind from the Pretenders, I believe it was used on Happy Feet. But that was a particularly good cover of the Joker, which I've heard 2 or 3 times this week. Not the cover, but the original, just being at work, and it's kind of a strange coincidence. And then I have gone back and I'm listening through the top 50 covers of 2013, and these are ones that were actually released during 2013. And that's been good. It's been split up over 2 episodes, but really enjoying that. As far as other music, I've just been listening to a few things here and there. The mix I have in my car, the mix I have for the gym, and then I think the last thing I was listening to was Hollywood Babylon with Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman. And really interesting. It's an older episode also, and they're talking about how their dealings with John Lovitz at the John Lovitz Podcast Theater out in California, and what necessitated a move to the Improv there. And really interesting hearing some kind of the behind the scenes dealings that they've had, just getting their podcast, podcast studio set up and their live performances set up. And to move on, let's go to the Weekly Whatchas. This last week, I've tried to catch up a little bit on Justified. I've gotten to the season finale of last year, and so I have been making some progress, to be sure. And that's been good. It's been it's been a long time since I had actually watched it, and it was good to catch up on that season. And then also continuing to watch Black Jesus, which is ridiculous, but it's a lot like watching episodic Friday, if you're familiar with the Friday movies. It's that kind of humor. It's been a lot of fun to watch that one. I was a little turned off by it at first, but stuck with it, and it's a good 20-minute show to pass a little bit of time. It's pretty funny. Watch some Franklin and Bash, fairly unremarkable. Continuing to watch Legends with Sean Bean, and he hasn't been killed yet, so it's unlike his movies. That's been kind of fun. And it's okay. It's not a great show. Madison got me watching some of The League the other day, and that's a pretty funny show, but it's also completely ridiculous. It reminds me a lot of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, if you're a fan of that show. And then I watched a little bit of The Nick, and this is based on the Knickerbocker Hospital in New York in 1900, I believe. And I watched the Sons of Anarchy premiere, and I don't know how many of you are fans of Sons of Anarchy. It seems like I do this every year where I'm really excited for the premiere, and then it reminds me of the problems with the show pretty quickly. And it was no different this year. I've been so excited for the premiere of Sons of Anarchy, but then I started watching it, and it just kind of didn't really hit me one way or the other. I didn't love it, didn't hate it. Just kind of middle of the road on that one. For those of you following the show, Gemma did some things in the finale of last season that she's going to have to deal with consequences of, and really she kind of got off easy in the premiere episode of this season, and I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, hopefully her lies will be uncovered. It'll make it a lot more interesting for sure. Sam has piped in here, and I'll interrupt my Whatcha Watchins with some of his here. Sam's been listening to Inside the Bets podcast about the NFL lines, and then he has been watching season 2 of The Americans, or he finished up season 2 of The Americans, and started back up watching Lost early in season 5. Sam, you poor bastard. I hate what's ahead of you in in finishing up Lost, but I hope that you enjoy it as much of it as you can. All right, back to my Whatcha Watchins. Like I said, Sons of Anarchy. We'll see how it turns out. Hope it gets considerably better than it has been so far. I watched a movie called Contagion, and it's not a newer movie. I'm not sure exactly how old it is, but this is a Steven Soderbergh movie, and I think he also does The Nick, the one I was talking about the hospital. Contagion is pretty much depressing from the beginning to the end, and it makes you a little germophobic because it shows you how people transfer germs and bacteria and viruses and stuff, and how often that we touch things and touch our faces, and how often we're exposing ourselves to disease, and how amazing it is that we haven't removed ourselves from the planet yet. Probably the highlight of my watching week was Batman Assault on Arkham. And this is an animated feature, but it is a full-length feature. And I had a great time with it. The voice actress, and I don't know her name right off, that voices Harley Quinn, just does a really great job. The Joker was also really good. I thought it was Mark Hamill, but it's definitely not Mark Hamill. I went back and looked in the credits to confirm, and it was not him. But he has that same kind of menace to his voice that Mark Hamill brings to the character in other animated shows. So that's been a lot of fun. I had to split it. I was too tired to watch it all in one sitting, but I watched half of it yesterday and half of it today, and really enjoyed that. I highly recommend it, even if you're not into cartoons and whatnot, which I'm usually not. But this one was a good animated feature. Surprisingly violent. I didn't expect it, but I guess that's what they can get away with in the features as opposed to the weekly series. And getting into what I've been playing this week, played a little bit of Titanfall, and I still like that game. I thought I'd better jump in and enjoy a little bit of it before I get wrapped up in Destiny. So I played a few different things, knowing that I probably wouldn't go back to them for a while. So I played Titanfall, and I played Warframe. And those of you who own, I'm not sure if it's on Xbox 360 and PS3, but it's definitely on Xbox One and PS4, is Warframe, and it's completely free to play. You can just download it and go. I mean, it's run by microtransactions, so you can spend money on it if you want to. But otherwise, if you just want to play the game, there's tons and tons of content there for you. It's a very similar game to Destiny in a lot of ways. So if you're not ready to jump into Destiny or don't want to spend the money right now, Warframe is a good option for you. And it's also on PC. So, and I believe it's PC and Steam, or maybe Steam exclusively on the PC. I'm not exactly sure. But it's totally worth picking up, especially since it costs no money. So I've been playing some Wordament on my phone. That's been interesting. I'm getting more text messages with content for the show, so let's see what we've got here. Sam has been playing Madden 15 and Forza 5 for the free weekend, and then Destiny. Did play a little bit of Destiny with Sam, and I am getting to that in my weekly Whatchas. Let's see here. And okay, well, let's get into Destiny then. Now that I've had a little time to spend with it, I've really, really been enjoying it. Unlike Sons of Anarchy, which I was also greatly anticipating, I've really enjoyed my time with Destiny. I've gone out of my way and found time to play, because I normally don't have any time to play games. But I've definitely put in some time with Destiny this week. As I said, I played with Sam. I've actually played a couple of times with Wonder Monkey and Keezy. Spent a lot of time playing with Just in Time, which is awesome. And I'm not sure if I was able to play with Will this week, but I definitely made an attempt. I know I made the attempt. So it's been a great time, and I like pretty much every mode that I've played. I played some single player, definitely played some story, but I was playing with some other people and kind of jumped around a bit. I haven't made much progress in my own storyline, but you can kind of do it in a lot of different orders, so it's not that big of a deal for me to be all over the place. We did play one mission, and this was Just in Time and a guy that he knows. And this ridiculously hard for us boss. They were both level 12, and I was level 9, and we didn't end up making it to the end. The Just in Time's associate, I'll say, or acquaintance, he got tired of us throwing ourselves against this end boss. And so he quit out, and I think we had the boss down to 25%. But we had spent over an hour trying to take this boss down, or do this boss battle. It's not the boss by himself, but I really enjoy the difficulty of the game, and it does vary according to how many people you have in and the levels of the people available. and I played some competitive multiplayer also. Did a lot of just standard Crucible where you're playing, I think it's called Control, and you're going around and taking the different points and trying to control those points, keep the other people from playing. I played a new version called... what was that called? Something about artifacts that you're supposed to take, and you're scanning them, and once you completely deploy your ghost to scan this, then the opposing team tries to shut down your ghost, and that was fun. We played some straight up team deathmatch. We also played some of the Every Man for Himself, the free-for-all, and that was a lot of fun too. There were a few things that I figured out while playing this week, because there's a lot of things I didn't exactly understand. One of the items that I got, it was called a strange coin, and yeah, I didn't know what to do with it. It doesn't have any description really, but come to find out, there is a vendor that's only in the game on weekends, and he's in the tower, and if you have a bunch of these strange coins, I think you have to have, they're very rare, but you have to have maybe 23 of them to buy weapons or armor or whatnot, but they are the very high-end weapons and armor. So if anybody is wondering what they do with the strange coins that they've gotten, if they've gotten any at all, that is the thing. Here, let me take a drink. Like I said, he's only available on the weekends, and he's in the tower by the different class guys. So go in there, and also if you got a code inside your copy of Destiny for the Vanguard Quartermaster supplies, he's not easy to find. He's just kind of out of the way. But if you're looking for him still, wondering how to get access to that extra content, he is located down by the shipwright in the tower. And these aren't free items that you get. You just get access to the marketplace. And there's probably 6 or 7 different items that you can purchase, and they will, at different points in your leveling up, they will increase in power. So I think until you're level 10, then the weapons do 66 points, or their attack rating is 66 points, and then it goes up to 111 at level 10, or 110, somewhere around in that area there. And I'm not sure what the next level is. I just turned level 15, but I didn't go back and check on the armory yet. And I think, I think that's about it. Hopefully, that helped you out a little bit. But with Destiny, it's a fairly standard first-person shooter in a lot of respects. But I find the loot drop system and the pseudo RPG elements to be rather enjoyable. So I hope you are enjoying it as well. All right, I think that's about it for the show. Kind of a quick and dirty one. Whenever there's not conversation, it takes a little bit longer to, takes a lot less time to get through all of our stuff. So I hope everybody has a great weekend. We've only got a couple of shows left till we head off to Europe. Hopefully we'll be able to record an episode there. It'll probably be on cell phone, so it may not be as clear as the audio that you're used to, but it'll be a lot of fun nonetheless. So we will see you next week, and I appreciate you watching and listening.